2026 can be one of your best business years, but if only you prepare and do things the right way. Do a few of these things that I'm going to share with you, at least two, before we get to the last quarter of the year 2026. Now I'm taking myself back into those years when I started doing business. If you don't know me, or if you've never heard my story, I started doing business in the year 2015 after graduating from the medical school. I knew I really wanted to do something that would get me into business and making more money because I had a lot of problems, and I knew for sure the only way that I could have solved my problems was by doing business. And my first business idea was non-pharmaceuticals. I've been in the hospital. I know how non-pharmaceuticals are used and disposed, and I knew for sure with all the savings that I had made when I was in school, if I got non-pharmaceuticals, I would be able to sell to hospitals and make some profits. Then I did my first imports from China, which I failed terribly. Then after that, I completely forgot about my initial business idea and started doing clothes. Went to Kampala, started selling thrifted clothes, and I remember all these mistakes that I used to do until one day when I was seated in that bus going to Kampala, started thinking, where could I be going wrong? Why am I trying all these things and they are not working? Could I be speaking to you that you've tried doing all types of businesses and none of it is working? Then you're wondering, where could I be going wrong? And today, I want us to talk about these key mistakes, lack of preparations, or other things that we do that might cost us. And the day I managed to resolve these problems, that is when I became a great business person, made my first million when I was as young as 25. That is when I managed to do most of these things that I have managed to do. Now, stick here, watch me till the end, subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on the notification bell so that you can get more of these nuggets. Now, to start with, I want to speak to you. When I sit back and analyze my early years and all these things that I used to do and the mistakes that I used to make, I have not even a single day pointed a finger to someone and said, I didn't manage or I didn't become the person I wanted to be because of that, because of a certain situation. But I took time to analyze myself. Today, point number one, it's okay for you to retreat, sit back and analyze yourself. Be very open to yourself because you cannot lie to yourself. Think, where could I be doing the opposite of what the very successful, the 1% do to succeed in business? The millionaires that are making millions in business, what different are they doing from me? One of the major mistakes that I learned that I used to do was copying business ideas blindly. Not until I sat down and analyzed myself did I learn that I'm always given ideas in weird places. When I'm having my pedicure in the parlor or whatever, in just some places when someone tells me, hey, listen, this is a very good business idea, why don't you do it? Then I'll take all my finances and go for it without even taking some time to just think deeply. Why do I want to do this business? How much profit is it going to make to me? Is it going to target the right socioeconomic status? Is this the business that I want to do? Is this what I would enjoy doing? No, I would blindly take someone's idea out of their mouth the same way they told me without adding or subtracting anything and implement it. My biggest mistakes that I did in my first 3 years of doing business. And that is how I found myself starting like 7, 8 businesses back to back as they fail, until I learned the mistake. Now, think, my initial business idea was to sell non-pharmaceuticals, and I even tried to import them from China. Then I brought in gloves that were not elastic. Instead, they were shipped as nitrile gloves. Now, can you imagine if I sat down with my very original idea, analyzed where the mistake had come in, then in my second order, it doesn't matter whether I would order it after 1 year, 2 years, I would do the right thing. I would observe the mistakes. I would be keen on the description of the gloves that I want, or even go for another non-pharmaceutical, import and sell to the hospitals. Could I have lost all the time that I lost? I couldn't, trying to do different types of business ideas that were sold to me by people. So it's okay to sit back and analyze yourself and ask yourself, wait, for all these businesses I've done as they failed, did I sit down and analyze the process of executing it to a time where it's going to give me some returns? It's going to pay me. If it is selling of or coming up with your own brand of a certain product, did you sit and understand or evaluate the demand in the market for that specific product? Or did you just go for it because you think it is going to sell, or because you heard someone else saying that, they have been doing this business and they are doing so well, and now you're there getting into it, or you just saw a page on Instagram or even on Shopify and you thought, this is doing well, I should also do that, then went ahead and did it. I want you to know, even if you're in a place where you've been auctioned, or even you're about to lose everything, it is okay to sit down. It's okay to lose. It's okay to be auctioned at that time that you are in. Not okay, but it's okay to lose everything and start all afresh. You sit and get every information correct. The next time you're coming back into the business world, you will come in correct. Number 2, and point number 2. Once you've analyzed yourself, you've noted all the mistakes and what you need to do right, think of implementation. There are so many people that build castles in the air. And as we say, the sky is the limit. It's okay for you to dream. But there are people that only dream but not implement. They don't put things into actualization. Now, I want to emphasize and I want to challenge you. Once you've sat down with that board, think of how you're going to implement things. Start with the smallest. I say, start with the smallest as you tackle the highest and the biggest. Sometimes so many things would come along the way, including fatigue, distraction, low self-esteem, the fear. Actually, fear is the key thing, but I want you to overcome everything, because in you, you have every power to overcome any type of fear, any type of low self-esteem. And I want you to understand that even those that you look at and admire, including myself, that I've taught so many people how to do business. When I'm doing something, implementing something and preparing all these business trips to China, there's an element of fear. But what does the Bible say? When you fear, you cast your fears unto God. Yeah, just learn to dispose all those fears and those personal things that will limit you from becoming the person that you want to be. Let's talk about self-esteem. You know for sure that the products that you're importing or you're about to sell will do well and will perform on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook, or even on YouTube. But you don't want to make videos. You don't want people to criticize your dialect. You don't want people to criticize how you look. People will remain to be people. I'm telling you that. It's all about what it is in your bank account. It's not about what will people think about. In whatever dialect that you'll speak, in whatever way you look like, present your product and present it well. Present yourself well, with a lot of professionalism, with a lot of showing the product, and it's more of the product and not you. In many cases on social media, people go wrong when you divert the attention of people to other things. But if you can be able not to divert the attention of people from the product to other things, then you'll be good. I'm saying, look at the space that you're shooting your videos. Less clutter, very much important. Clutter will put people's mind to the clutter and not even to the product that you're selling. It is going to distract people. Be minimalistic as possible. Dress well. Groom well. I know people talk of grooming. I know people look at it like just like any other thing. But let me tell you, in business, if you don't groom well, chances are you're not going to perform well in business. People don't buy from places that they think that they are not so well groomed. Did you know that? Even when you have physical locations, make sure that your workplace is as clean as possible. Your salespeople are as clean as possible, because grooming talks volumes. We say cleanliness is second to godliness. Clutter. In all the years that I've taught people how to do business, and actually my business is in a very, very busy mall. I have watched other thousands of businesses, including other countries like Germany, Dubai, and in all the other countries that I've flown, gone to do business. There's nothing that people watch as clutter and dirt. The less cluttered your place is, the cleaner your space is, the easier for you to sell your product. That is part of the preparation of your comeback. I said that is part of the comeback preparation. Now sit back and think, what systems do I need to apply in my business for it to succeed? And what are the new things that people are practicing now in this season that I need to implement for me to succeed in business? Now let me shock you. Every season, every year is totally different for business people. The way we used to do business in the year 2021, totally different from how we do business today. The way we used to do business in the year 2019, totally different from how we are doing business this year. So you need to understand, even if you have to buy a course on Udemy, get someone to mentor you, it is quite important. Things keep on changing. Look, just the other day, we were introduced to TikTok ads. We never had TikTok ads. They have turned out to be the most amazing things. You can sell like crazy on TikTok. Now imagine if you're seeking advice from a person who was doing business in times where their business is not actually on TikTok. They know nothing about TikTok. They'll forget to mention that important part. We are selling a lot on TikTok. Now, talk of ads. Back in the days, we just used to run ads. You go on Instagram, press the boosts, post, and that is it. Now, look at these days. Everything is well calculated. We have meta ads that are more complex than how we used to just go to Facebook, boost, pop, and you've ran an ad. You need to understand, how are people doing it? We have Google ads. How are you supposed to run them? On top of that, AI has changed everything. That is something that has completely changed how we used to do business. Did you know that? Before AI, we used to rely on, manually coming up with your, running your ads, setting up your ads. Look, today we have Pencil AI. That is for the ads. And so many others. We have ChatGPT that helps you to come up with the best information before you run that ad or even you make that post. And Gemini and so many others. Make use of all these AI tools. There is no way in the year 2026 you will do business without AI. AI is my companion. And I'm saying that because I'm in business. Since last year, I've been doing business, selling on social media, but also incorporating a lot of AI. Adopt that method. Now, it is quite important for you to equip yourself for the marketplace. Equip yourself with the skills, the expertise of today, and last but not the least, spiritually. Never leave that hole uncovered. In many cases, we want to be very analytical, in how we are doing things. Everything is check. But when it comes to spirituality, we sleep on it. Now, I'm telling you this out of experience. And I'm saying this out of experience. I remember in my early years of doing business, there is no single day I sat down and incorporated God or attached myself with the spiritual being or with the spiritual part of myself to understand and to respect how I feel about an outcome, about a situation, before diving deep into a situation. Until one day, in all the years that I had done business before then, failing back to back, one day in a bus, headed to Kampala, seated to a lady next to a lady by the name Mary. And we started conversing and talking. And I remember we got to Kampala. My feet were swollen. Her feet were swollen. It was a tiring trip because we would move from Nairobi, Nakuru, Kenya, all the way to Kampala, like 10 hours ride to go and collect the merchandise, then come back to Kenya, sell the product. So by the time we would get to Kampala, we would be extremely tired, swollen, the feet are swollen, hungry, feeling dirty, and all that. And I remember in that trip, these ladies sat me down and told me when we got to Kampala, let's pray to God. Can we just pray to God? And God answers prayers. And ask God to open up our eyes to be able to start flying to Thailand to go and get our merchandise in Thailand. Then I said, and also China. I'm the one who came up with the idea of China. She talked of Thailand. Then, back in those days, Thailand was a big market where people would go and collect merchandise. Then I sat down and thought, after she prayed, because she's the one who prayed, wait a minute. Oh, so we should pray about it? Oh, so I should pray about it? And that is when I became intentional when it comes to prayers and just connecting myself with God so that He can direct me in those very perfect paths. So I'm just giving you a highlight. Don't leave that hole open. Make sure you've equipped yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically for the marketplace. When you talk of physically, watch the last video that I covered intensively of things that you're supposed to do. You can click the link right here, go watch that video and see what you're supposed to do. I talked about physical preparation of doing business or equipping yourself better physically in the marketplace in our last video. Last but not the least, allow yourself to grow. Now, growth is inevitable if you practice the two things that I've shared with you. But there's a problem that I learned the hard way. If your business grows and you don't allow it to grow or put the add-ons that it is demanding for because of the growth and manage it as the days that it would serve 100 people, now it's serving 10,000 people, 1,000 people. You're still doing the same things the way you used to do them, then it's going to swallow you. You're going to lose yourself with fatigue, with, chronic fatigue to be precise, conditions, your cortisol will be up, hormonal imbalance because of overworking yourself. What do I mean? If your business gets to a point where you need to hire help, please hire help. You cannot do everything. It's okay for you to not do everything. Did you know that? Yes, it is well. It is okay. I remember one of the biggest fears that I had as I grew in business is letting go. Allowing someone else to manage a certain position, a certain element of my business, not knowing that it is not people that run my business. It is the systems that I have to put in place or I will put in place. That is, if it is management of inventory, point of sale, how things are executed, and on top of that, some clear standard operating procedures, goals and objectives for my business, my company. Those are the key things that are used to run the business. That is why a company can always replace an employee and things will move swiftly. People don't understand that. And most employees don't understand this. You'll hear employees saying, "It is me that made that company grow to that level." No, it isn't. It is the systems and the standard operating procedures, goals and objectives that have been put in place to be met by you at that time. So you need to understand, as your business grows, come up with systems, standard operating procedures, goals and objectives to be run by every institution or part of your business. If your business grows to a level that it needs an in-house accountant, hire the help. If you need a marketing department, people to run ads, people to run pages, when it has grown to that level, get that. If you need salespeople or the sales team, get that. Now, here is the thing. When your business is growing or has grown to a level that it is demanding for all these aspects, it will comfortably pay those employees. It will comfortably fund those positions with no hassle. Now, in many cases, some of us, we have actualized that. We want to implement it way earlier before our business gets to the level that it really demands for that position. Then you start outsourcing finances from other places to sustain that office or just that position, like the sales team. For sure, you know that the amount of sales that you're doing for your business does not equate to you having a sales team, but you have it. Then you start stressing the business. When the business grows, demands for those positions, it comfortably funds those positions. One of the major mistakes that I did for almost 4 years in my years of doing business. Now count. I talked of 3 years of not even coming up with a good business idea. Almost 4 years of not understanding that systems can be used to successfully run a business. Would you believe it if I told you that anytime I flew out of the country, I had to close my business? Nothing was functioning. I trusted no one. I thought that I would rather close that business but not have people stealing from me, stealing I don't know what. I would rather just close it until I fly back to my country. Allow yourself to grow with the business. Another experience that I had, if I remember or remind myself back in the days where I would get thousands of emails of potential clients and WhatsApp messages and all that, then I would sleep late night trying to respond to them, but I couldn't, fearing that I don't want to give someone the mandate to converse with my clients. Then I ended up having a lot of backlog. So many people started complaining that I don't respond to their emails, I don't respond to their messages, and all couldn't understand that I was getting overwhelmed, until one day I decided to hire professional help. And from that day till today, it takes at least maximum on a weekday 20 to 30 minutes to have your email replied. You can imagine. That completely changed the face of my business. And I imagined the amount of clients that I lost for all those years just because I didn't want to trust anyone with that position. Pay attention to these 3 things, and if you've liked the video, you'd want to fly to China. We are still taking the registrations for the 9th business trip to China. Join us from any part of the world that you're in. I'll teach you when we're in China and mentor you, teach you how to ship your things from China to US, to Australia, and all these parts of the world. You'll be able to make your good money. You're gonna come up with your own brand. I'll teach you all these information in that business trip. I'll be with you every day for a total of 17 days. Remember, the deadline is close. It's as close as this week, I think on 31st or 30th of January. If you're seeing this past the deadline, write to us on our WhatsApp, call us, and we are going to give you a feedback on if you can be able to join us or not. Looking forward to see your subscription, your comments, and see you in my next video as we discuss more, because 2026 will be a great year for all of us. Let's equip ourselves with all that we need. Bye-bye.